What's up, guys? For today's video we are going to be talking about the Casio Pro Trick PRW line of watches. In front of you I've got the PRW3500T, which stands for titanium, and then the PRW3510. Of course I will have the actual model names on the screen for you. But before we get into the review, let's do a quick wrist check. I am rocking my G-Shock GW9400 Rangeman, and this is on purpose because I want to compare these two, not too in depth, just real quick. But let's get right into it, starting off with our first talking point, which is a 360-degree view and dimensions. Oops. These are not what they come in, by the way. These are just some old Casio stands that I got from the store, from other watches that I've bought, but I like to use them, or reuse them at least. But here is the 3500T, and these two are essentially exactly the same, just the color scheme and then the materials are different. But there's a case back with the Pro Trick logo, and here are the side buttons. And then let's go ahead and show you the super cool one. I absolutely love this version. First of all, that band color. So you've got OD green mixed with the black case, and that looks so clean to me. I am a sucker when it comes to OD green, and I think there's a lot of you out there that feel the same with me. You know, like OD green or coyote tan, those tactical colors. And you know, I get it, I'm not like one of those tactical people, but I still really appreciate the look. So there we go. And then I'll have the dimensions on the screen for you right now. So this is a little bit larger, and I'm really comfortable with large watches, but for those of you that prefer a middle size to smaller size watch, then this might not be your cup of tea. For me it's fine. However, I would have preferred to have seen the case a little bit smaller, not by a lot, just a little bit, because there are a bunch of other Pro Treks in the line that are just in that perfect size. So for that reason I give dimensions a score of 4.5 out of 5. So don't look too deep into that. 4.5 is still a great score. In my perfect world, I would have made it just a tad smaller. Next talking point is price. Both of these watches come in two separate price ranges. The titanium version is going to be a little bit more expensive. MSRP for the titanium version is $500, but on the street, you're looking more realistically at around $270 before taxes, and this is just off of Amazon. I'm sure on eBay you could more than easily find a cheaper price. Going off of the 3510, MSRP is $320, but on the street you're looking at around $224 as of today on Amazon. And again, feel free to search eBay or any other online retailer and see if you can get a better price. So for the score I'm going to give, and both of these will receive the same score, is a 4.5 out of 5. So I think that for the most part the price matches what you're getting. Obviously for me, being a cheapo, I would have liked to have seen it just a little bit cheaper, not by a lot, just a little bit. So this one going for $270, maybe more realistically $250. $240, and I think that would have been a perfect score. And then this one at $224, I think realistically around $200 would have been perfect for this watch. So for that reason I give both of them a 4.5 out of 5. Next talking point is functions and features. So I will have the list of functions and features for you on the screen, but just for a quick demonstration. So for your main screen, you've got your, hold on, let me try to focus. Okay, there we go. You've got your day and date on the top, your main time and your seconds, and then also here is your battery charge level. So right now, I don't know if you can see that, but it's at H, which means high. So it's low, medium, and high. So that being said, this is a solar watch, and it also has the multi-band 6 capability. So every day, as long as it can receive the signal, it will sync up to the closest radio tower, and you'll never have to adjust your time. Your 3 main buttons here. This is your compass button. This is your barometer and temperature, and then down here is your altimeter. So you click that, takes you straight to your compass. There's your barometer. And so for those of you that don't know, barometer really just measures like different pressures in the air, so that way you can tell whether or not the weather is going to change. So if you've got an upward trend, that means that more than likely the weather is going to be good that day. And then if you see it going downwards, then that means the weather is going to more than likely be kind of stormy or at least rain that day. And then down here's your altimeter. And then to exit out of any of these screens, you could just hit your menu button right here and then take you back there. If you hit the adjust button up here, once you can change what's displayed for day and date. So now it shows month and date, or your barometer. So that way you can just quickly look at your watch without having to go to the barometer menu or function and see what the weather is going to be like for that day. And sorry if you're hearing that noise, that's my kid acting a fool upstairs. Going on, here's your menu button. As I said before, you've got your sunrise and sunset times, which is a fantastic feature. I absolutely love this feature. And then, so this is your record function. So what this does is it records your altimeter. So whenever you go to altimeter mode, it will automatically store, I forget what the increments are. You can change how often it automatically stores data. It's like every 2 minutes for 1 hour, or every 5 minutes for 12, something like that. You can look at the manual and it tells you how to do that. But it's a great function because that way you can see what elevation you were at, what your minimum elevation was, what your maximum elevation was. And while this doesn't have a timestamp mode, you can use the altimeter recording function to record a specific time that you want to remember. So, it's not designed to do a timestamp, but you can use it for that function. Stopwatch, timer, alarm, world time, and that's your multi-band 6 menu. So it's saying that on May 30th at 4:03 in the morning, it's synced with the nearest radio tower, and my time is accurate, at least within the last 24 hours. And then it's exactly the same for this one, but I will show you anyways, just so you can see. There you go. And then on the screen, I'll show you some other functions that I may not have talked about, or features. So there you go. Now, it goes without saying that these watches are jam-packed with functions and features. I would expect nothing less from Casio ProTrek, because that's just the standard that they've set forth, and I've never been disappointed with their feature set. Now, with that being said, I am a little bit disappointed with their ease of use, I guess. Now, that's not saying that it is hard to use. It's a fantastic watch. But if we compare it to the Rangeman that I showed you earlier, I feel like the G-Shock Rangeman does everything that these watches do, but a little bit better. Specifically when it comes to recording. Now, I'm not going to talk too much about it, but basically this button up here is your record button. So you can just hold that down, and in time mode, it'll record your time, so you can do a timestamp. And then if you go to any of the ABC functions, so altimeter, barometer, or compass, you hold this button and it records it. So it's a very simple process. Whereas in the case of the ProTrek, it does all those things, but you have to do each one differently, right? So like if I wanted to record compass bearing, I would have to go to compass and I'd have to hit this button to record my bearing, instead of doing it like on the Rangeman. And it's completely different if I wanted to record data for time or data for altimeter. So I felt like they could have done that a little bit better, user friendly. But again, not a big deal. That's just because I've been spoiled by my Rangeman. So for that reason, I will give functions and features 4.5 out of 5. Please don't read too deeply into that. It's just because I felt like they could have done a little bit better of a job, but still, still a phenomenal watch. Oh yeah, and I forgot to mention the bezel. It is a rotating bezel, bi-directional. It's not like one of those clicky ones. I think it's just a friction bezel, but it's very sturdy. It feels very purpose-driven and not flimsy at all. Next talking point is illumination. Let's go ahead and show you the illumination. All right, as you can see, fantastic. Let's show you what it looks like in a well-lit room. There you go. You can see both of them very clearly. So even in a well-lit room, that illumination shines fairly bright, but not too bright. It's not so bright that it's going to burn out your retinas in the dead of night. So illumination, I give a 5 out of 5. Next talking point is visibility. This is where I think the PRW just is fantastic. It's the star of the show. Really, you cannot beat this display. It is so easy to read, even with a negative display. I think Casio is kind of very weak in their negative displays, but for these watches, I mean, what you're seeing right now, and I mean, you can see those numbers clear as day. That is what I see in real life. That is what I see out on a sunny day, out in a dark room. A fantastic display. And it looks so cool. It almost looks like a futuristic Minority Report cop watch, if you get my reference. And I mean, when I'm riding my motorcycle, it looks so great when I'm on the road and I just want to quickly see what time it is. It's so easy to read. So for visibility, 5 out of 5. Next talking point is button and crown quality. You've got these great, I want to call them knurled or maybe textured. Might be hard to see on that black case. Let's see if you can see it on the 3500. Come on, focus for me. There we go. So you can see it's textured or knurled, if that's the phrase I want to use. Plastic, but still very good. Not too hard to press, but they are not easy to access accidentally. So any kind of wrist motion is not going to get you out of main time screen, which to me is like a huge pet peeve when I'm doing some kind of physical activity, like for example push-ups, and then all I can hear is my watch beeping because the back of my hand is hitting buttons. But yeah, button crown quality is 5 out of 5. Next talking point is band quality and comfort. So with the titanium band, fantastic. You saw the dimensions, you saw how light this watch is, and I attribute that to the titanium band. Let's go ahead and show you what it looks like on the wrist. So put my range band off to the side. Here's the titanium band. Very good, very clean and good quality. It's not like the cheapo stamped steel. So there is the 3500. And then the 3510, I don't think this is resin. I'm pretty sure it's silicone, but man, it feels so good. If you guys have any experience with Seikos, specifically the Seiko Tuna or the Seiko Arnie, if you know what I'm talking about, it's like that, but better. I mean, it feels like you've got this pillow surrounding your wrist, like a very easy breathing pillow. A lot of times I have issues with my wrist getting hot and sweaty throughout the day because the resin band or rubber band or whatever you have just doesn't fit like just right. But this one, it bends in all the right places, it stretches in all the right places, and it feels fantastic. I don't know what they use to make this band, but by far the best band that is not a bracelet that I have in my collection so far. And that's saying a lot because I absolutely love the Seiko Tuna silicone bands. So I guess you can guess what the score is, 5 out of 5 for band quality and comfort. Last talking point is my overall thoughts. So the overall score, taking all the scores that I showed you or I gave you and averaging them out, we get a total score of 4.78 out of 5, and that's a damn good score. Really, there's no such thing as a perfect watch, so I highly doubt I'm ever going to give a 5 out of 5. So 4.78 means that it is pretty much perfect. Just small, tiny things that I would change to make it perfect for me. I'm sure for you this watch is great and fantastic, and it really is. I've got no complaints with it. And above all else, it is a fun watch. And to me, that is like top 3 priorities in a watch. Really, they are quality, value, and is it fun? Because, you know, what's the point of wearing a watch if you don't enjoy wearing it? And that's exactly what these watches are. They're fun to wear, especially with that futuristic, cool looking display. I really do feel like I'm in the future with those large, bold numbers and all that data readily available for you. I mean, this is like the closest thing to a smartwatch you can get without it looking really lame. Like, I'm not a fan of smartwatches because they just don't look cool. Like, it's pretty much just a little phone on your wrist, and I'm not a fan of that. I like the fact that it's a watch and its main purpose is a watch, but at the same time, it still gives you so much information. So that's all I got to say for the Pro Truck. I hope that you've enjoyed this video, and I hope that it helps you with your next watch purchase. Thank you for watching, and make sure to tune in to my next episode. All right, bye.